Warning. I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised.
First off, thanks to @CandyCane79 on Twitter for tagging me in this. From the New York Post. A New York City executive accused of having sex slave denies knowing Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. December 18, 2019. A Manhattan executive accused of grooming a child model to be a sex slave wants her to drop legal claims that he has ties to Jeffrey Epstein's fixer, Ghislaine Maxwell, according to new court papers. Douglas Graham, who was sued last month by Nikki Henry for allegedly starting a sexual relationship with her when she was 14, says that despite the fact that he knew Maxwell's media mogul father, Robert, he doesn't know Ghislaine or Epstein. According to new papers filed Tuesday in Manhattan, quote, Graham has not communicated with Mr. Maxwell since 1978. Graham has never met, nor has he ever communicated with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. Quote, plaintiff knows this, yet she and her attorneys included the following scandalous and totally immaterial allegation in the sham verified complaint. Graham's lawyer Peter Smith alleged in the court documents. Graham, 69, says that, quote, in 2019, there is no more certain and effective way to gravely injure a man's reputation than to accuse him of being friends with Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, the court papers say. Further, Graham, a former manager director of KPMG, says he didn't meet Henry until she was 21 years old in 2003. Graham says the pair had a healthy relationship and lived together until they split in 2016, at which point Henry, quote, vowed to destroy Graham, including threatening to kill him and physically abusing him, the court papers allege. Henry's lawyer, Paul D'Amelia, said Graham's motion seeking to have Henry amend her complaint to take out mentions of the Maxwell family ties misses a point. Quote, I'm kind of taken aback that that's the part that Mr. Graham is scandalized about, not the part about the rape of a child. It's an incidental but very true fact that included in Graham's circle was Mr. Maxwell, D'Amelia said. Quote, Miss Ghislaine was in Graham's circle of friends and Nikki noticed and observed her, and we haven't really said anything more than that at this point. And as for Epstein, it sounds more like a guilty conscience on the part of Mr. Graham. We didn't even mention Epstein, D'Amelia added. D'Amelia said the claim that Graham and Henry met when she was 21 rather than 14 is utter nonsense, since Henry says the pair met when she was still in high school. Looks like we have somebody else to look into.
What could be done to better utilize the patent system we have? I think start the process earlier. It's inevitably a long process from the time when an idea is conceived to when it's actually practically applied and generating revenues and benefiting the economy and benefiting the users of the innovation. You know, typically anything up to 10 years, pharmaceuticals even longer.
Did you guys see that? He's trying not to shapeshift.
And there's two ways we can shorten that. One is by improving the efficiency of the patent offices. And that's a challenge that maybe I'm not going to attempt to tackle right now. But, you know, there's plenty of noble efforts being made to do that.
Here's an article from the Daily Mail. Former KPMG director, 69, linked to Jeffrey Epstein madam Ghislaine Maxwell, groomed a 14-year-old model to be a slave and subjected her to sadomasochistic sex in dungeons. Douglas Graham is a former managing director for auditing firm KPMG. Nikki Henry, 38, alleges that Graham forced her to be a sex slave. She claims Graham started grooming her when she was just 14. Henry says Graham kept her in an apartment and isolated her from outside world, and subjected her to sadomasochistic sex in dungeons. Graham denies allegations and dismissed Henry's lawsuit as clearly slanderous. Henry said Graham had a close relationship with the late British media mogul Robert Maxwell, who was Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Yes, we know this. Graham refined his appetites through his friendship with Maxwell and his entourage, which included Ghislaine, the lawsuit alleges. Henry alleges that Graham, who was managing director of the international auditing firm KPMG, used company credit cards to procure underage girls. She filed her lawsuit earlier this month under New York State's Child Victims Act, a new enacted law that grants a 1-year window for alleged victims of crimes that took place when they were children to seek damages. And here it says Maxwell is one of 4 women named in a lawsuit filed by one of Epstein's alleged victims, Jennifer Arrayos. Arrayos, 32, alleges that Epstein began grooming her for sex when she was 14 and later raped her. She recently expanded her lawsuit against his estate, naming Maxwell, Leslie Groff, a former secretary, Kimberly Espinoza, a former executive assistant, and Rosalind Fontanilla, a former maid who died in October 2016. I missed this, but I guess it was already out there. And then this is pretty fucking weird. Regarding my last video and the missing footage, thanks to Alana, and thanks to Brian Oblivion on Twitter for sharing this with me. The missing surveillance footage of Jeffrey Epstein's first suicide attempt is found a day after it was reported missing from Manhattan Jail, December 19, 2019. The missing surveillance footage of Epstein's suicide attempt in jail has been found, one day after prosecutors claimed it mysteriously vanished from the prison. On Thursday, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Jason Swergold and Maureen Comey, I told you, told federal judge Kenneth Carraz in a court filing the video was found. Earlier today, the government confirmed with MCC staff that the video was preserved by MCC staff. Yesterday, the mystery in the Epstein's death seemed to deepen when Swergold stood up in court and claimed the footage hadn't been retained by the facility. On Wednesday, Swergold said, "It is our understanding that the video no longer exists. It was not preserved. I don't know the details of how it was lost or destroyed or why it wasn't retained when it should have been," Tartaglione's lawyer, Bruce Barkett, said Wednesday. On Thursday, upon the discovery of the footage, he said, "We look forward to seeing it." What the fuck's going on? Oh, was it doctored? Fucking stoned.